Hello all, I welcome you all again to iOS mobile application development tutorial. In my last video I have explained you how to install Xcode, or if you are not having Xcode, how to use online compiler for learning Swift. So before we start coding anything in the Swift, so I feel it is my duty to explain you something about the Swift. So why Swift came into existence, uh, what are its advantages, before Swift what was the language that was used, why Apple introduced a new language. I think these all are necessary to you to know before you actually start developing a apps with the help of Swift. So Objective-C was actually a language that was used by Apple team before Swift. Starting from 1996 almost till 2014, all the apps or all the products that came out of Apple are developed only in the programming language called Objective-C. Objective-C is one of the fastest programming language that mankind has ever seen. So, but it still had some disadvantages. To overcome that, the Swift was introduced. So development of the Swift was started in the year July 2010 by Chris Latner. So later many of Apple developers joined the team, but the project was still led by Chris Latner. So on June 2nd, 2014, Apple Worldwide Developer Conference, they announced the Swift. So if you're not aware what is WWDC, please go and check out on YouTube. Every year Apple makes a annual function called WWDC, where they will announce all the new things that they have come up with. Generally it happens on June. Just check it out if you are not aware of it. Okay. So on December 3rd, 2015, Swift language and its supporting libraries, debugging, package manager, all of them became an open source. So you might be aware Apple has invested a lot of money in making a language and they made it an open source. Why is it? Why they are making this? The answer is very simple. People believe on those languages which are tested by so many people. So if you hide the nowadays, if you hide the how the architecture of a Swift is done, how it debugs, how debugging process works, how libraries are developed, if you are hiding all the things from the developers and only few people from Apple team is working on it, obviously a language will not evolve. So whenever it becomes an open source, everybody are able to look at the code and they will correct the Apple wherever they are making a mistake. So the language will evolve and it will become less error prone. So most of the programming language that you see nowadays are open source because of this reason. So Swift also became an open source and even now it is an open source. And latest version of the Swift is Swift 5. Maybe in this June you may expect the Swift 6. So a few advantages of Swift you need to know before actually starting with that. So first thing is the readability. Since most of the target audience of this training might have not aware of the Objective-C and they may not learn Objective-C as well. So I have just put few lines of code so that you can compare between the advantages of Swift over Objective-C. So first is readability. You can see what we are doing is a simple string concatenation. So if there are two words hi and v, if you have to combine it and make hi v, so what is the process you have to follow to achieve it? So you can see here the readability of the code. In Objective-C there are two lines of code which looks very clumsy and complex. But when you come to the Swift, there are also two lines of code, but it looks very simple and straightforward, like most of the modern programming languages like Java, Python, and C#. So this is one of the key advantage of Swift, the readability. The second is speed. Swift is one of the fastest programming language. In fact, it is faster than Objective-C and Python. The why I'm taking the name of Python is a language that is used for most of the complex data computations nowadays. So Swift is even popular or even faster than Python. So third one is open source, which I already explained. A language is own open source means it is an asset of the developers whoever use it. And the other advantages is maintenance. So Objective-C was a language which was a superset of C language. So Objective-C cannot evolve unless C is evolved. So just for an example, I'm saying our C programming language came up with a version 1.0 and Objective-C was upgraded to 1.0 with certain features that came with C, and C program later updated to 2.0 with certain advantages. Till then, Objective-C was not able to update itself because it was a superset of C, and whatever the compiler that was used for the C was same, almost the same was used for Objective-C as well. So that was the disadvantage. The maintenance was a little difficult. And second point is less code and less legacy. You already saw how Swift is reducing the code lines. So whenever there is a less code, the readability will increase, and also the maintenance is very easy. And last option is playground, that you are gonna see immediately after this video. uh, Earlier, whenever you're using Objective-C, if you have to learn Objective-C, you have to create a iOS app or any apps like that. Then you have to go inside that and you have to write Objective-C program and you have to learn. But now for Swift it is not like that. You can just create a playground, a simple way, a plug and play kind of a thing, where a window will pop up and you can write anything that you want to learn in Swift and you can execute. So you need not to create a project which is a complex process. So these are all the advantages of Swift over the Objective-C. So because of these reasons, we are learning the Swift for our applications. Thank you.